Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of Alpha series where we ask investor-related questions to a project that we're personally supporting. And today we have an amazing project, the intelligence layer, Bluwhale AI, and we're very lucky to have the actual CEO and co-founder in person. Great to have you, Han. And before we kick off, let's do a quick series of intros. We have absolutely amazing panelists today, so I am super hyped.
Hey guys, I'm Miles, crypto analyst and content creator. Looking forward to diving more into the product today.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Nick. I'm the CEO of the Coin Bureau, an independent crypto media entity, and we got the largest crypto YouTube channel.
Hey, hello guys. I'm Fernando. I am CEO and co-founder of Nebula. We are advisors and accelerators to projects, and super happy to be here with this amazing panel and obviously with Han. Amazing project.
So Han, you were in the hot seat today. No pressure. No pressure. We'll unfortunately have to ask you some difficult questions, but we're sure that you'll be able to defend yourself well enough. So if you don't mind introducing yourself.
For sure. This is Han. I'm the CEO and founder of Bluwhale, and we are building the first intelligence layer across multiple blockchains.
Han, we are all super excited and we really want you to thrive. But I guess the first question to kick off, when we look at the 6 T's, if you guys remember, we have number 1, the first T is the team. Number 2 is the tech. Number 3 is the token. Number 4 is the theme and trend. And number 5, we're going to talk about the traction. So there are other T's, but we'll just focus on those 5 today, if that's cool with you, gents. So I guess the first one, everyone wants to know the story behind the guy who's building something. What is making you feel so driven about this? And why do you think this is an important mission in your life with Bluwhale AI?
For sure. Me and my co-founder, we have been in AI for a very long time. My co-founder did his PhD at Stanford back in 2007. I did mine at Berkeley in 2011 and 12. And we were building out AI structure and infrastructure way back before it was called AI. So we ended up in the space like building in our previous companies, multiple AI applications, infrastructure for larger enterprises, and thought about like why being dependent on those big enterprises? Why not find the data that we need on the blockchain and actually, support the 92% or 98% of the world with that kind of intelligence and insight?
When we first chatted in Dubai, I know many calls before, your background in AI, you said part of the reason you wanted to get into decentralized AI was because of your experience with the centralized entities. Do you want to speak a bit more to that?
For sure. So, one of our companies that we were building was building infrastructure for large enterprises that personalizes the content, video content specifically, to the user itself. So we would need to understand and profile the user, understand what he likes, what preferences he has, and what kind of like taste he has towards certain kind of like videos. We used an AI to, kind of generate short pieces of content like 30 seconds, 60 seconds to then specifically feed them. Like imagine you are like an action kind of like a proponent, or you love action movies. We would actually show you the action scene of a, like 2-hour video, and you would be so delighted to actually click in and watch the whole thing.
Yeah, so the next question with regards to the team, and I love how you kicked off talking about your co-founder rather than selling yourself. That shows a little bit of modesty and humbleness, which I really appreciate. I'll sell yourself for you. You're quadrilingual, speak Chinese, German, English, and Swedish. Oh my God. Stanford University, which I'm sure for machine learning is probably one of the...
It was actually Berkeley. I don't like the Stanford guys. Just kidding. My co-founder is Stanford.
Oh, your co-founder Stanford.
Yeah,
You're from Berkeley.
Yeah, I'm from Berkeley.
Oh, that's an F up on my side. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We compete against each other. Berkeley always loses in football, but it's okay.
So I think one thing that's really important is the relationship between you two co-founders. Like what I've realized at SwissBorg is it's really good to have people that have the same vision, but also complete each other in many ways with regards to personality, complete each other in terms of skill sets. How do you feel this is the right mesh? How did you figure out that, okay, he's the right guy I'm going to marry to, quote unquote, in order to make this a success?
So I have to say, I've been married to him for 10 years now. So it's been quite some time. What do you call it? It's like a silver wedding or whatever. But so how we met each other was through an introduction of my friend. And I was looking for someone who is really technical, who can build out the AI like I was imagining it. And he was looking for someone, that actually he could sell the project or kind of like a service to. He was a consultant back in the days. And I was like, no, I'm not going to sell you. I'm going to, convince you that I have something that you want to work on. And so afterwards, he left his job to join me. Now, how we are splitting it up is like I'm focusing on the business side. So from fundraising, sales, marketing, and being out there to build new partnerships. And then he is focusing on like building out the vision about how we're going to build the intelligence layer, how we're going to structure it, what is the technology behind it, and how do we make it into a productized value proposition for the people on chain.
Okay, so on tech, I'm interested to know. So obviously the idea behind Bluwhale is try and combine the Web 2 and Web 3 identities. Now, how do you square the circle between verifying data authenticity, but also maintaining privacy for blockchain for Web 3 natives?
For sure. So when we looked at the consumer data itself, right, like on the blockchain, everything is kind of public. You can access it anytime. You have to build in a certain type of technologies like, ZK layers and other applications that guarantee the security. So that's the part that we have been, kind of like pushing quite aggressively to enable so that the users that are kind of like opting in on our platform don't have the, kind of like risk of being exposed. Now, on the other side, like when we looked into the space, we saw a lot of companies trying to do AI in the computing way, AI in the data way, but nobody was actually combining the intelligence on top of it. If you just have data, it's dumb data. It doesn't do anything. If you just have compute, if there's no data or intelligence, it's not going to do anything. So with Bluwhale, what we are doing is contextualizing that data, turning into a graph structure that is like a software representation of a brain. And now the brain can actually think, can make decisions, and can actually help you understand and extract insights from the information without human interaction.
So that's amazing, Han. Thank you for that intro. I would like to deep dive a little bit more on the element of decentralization because, as you guys know, this is a deep-in project. But something that I believe is very unique to Bluwhale is the element of involving mobile into this whole structure. So if you could deep dive a little bit more on that part of the technology, it would be amazing.
For sure. So we are the first ones to try nodes on mobile. And primarily how we thought about it is like, mobile devices have memory. They have your personal data, all of you guys. And they have compute, like GPUs. Now, even though like compute at this point might not be strong enough, we believe in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be very, very powerful in your pocket. And so what we want to do is like first enable the capabilities of verifying data, contributing data, and then long-term speaking, we can then unlock all the other capabilities because our nodes is a software node that then can enable capabilities that you currently don't have today. And so what we are creating is like, think of it like a Helium network that decentralize how to scale AI, LLMs, agents, and so on, putting it into your pocket so it's simple enough for anybody to operate it.
That's amazing. I'd love to understand a bit more about the retail side, like how this technology can impact the lives of, like, for example, some of the people that are watching this panel right now. I'd love to understand how you think maybe over the next 5 to 10 years this technology can be transformational.
For sure. When I looked into node sales at all, there were so many node sales that was quite centralized when it comes to sales, which means like the amount of people that are operating the nodes for previous node sales are like 80% one entity and then 20% like distributed across community members. What we wanted to achieve is like that anybody could do it for you. Now, the problem about nodes today is like you need to download a software package, install the servers. I don't think that my dog or my grandma could do it. All right. So what we wanted to do is we actually develop an app that puts it into your pocket. You can open the Bluwhale app today. When you purchase your node, we recognize based on your wallet or your profile that you have those nodes. And all you need to do is like click on it and boom, now you are kind of like making passive income. And that's the most powerful thing you can do if you want to decentralize a network.
So everyone has the ability to earn passive income on their phone around the world by tapping into the network.
Exactly. And you don't need to think about like how many nodes you purchase. You don't need to think about like which nodes you're operating. All you need to do is like open the Bluwhale app. It's not going to consume any like battery power or whatever compute on your phone. And on top of that, just let it run in the background. It's very light, very simple. And, even my dog can do it.
It's amazing.
I want to meet your dog, bro.
It's a smart dog.
That'll go viral.
Dog. I mean, your dog should be the ambassador.
You should have a meme coin. You should do.
Yeah, we should have it's like a meme. Yeah, no dog.
That'd be funny.
That's fascinating. Great questions, Miles. Thanks so much for that. So I would love to ask you, with regards to understanding what Bluwhale AI is in simple terms, this intelligence layer, and maybe benchmark it relative to what could be a potential alternative or competitor in the space. Because, you have products like DBank, you have the Graph, right? You have many of these projects that you said that provide you with data, Dune, for example, but the data is, as you said, it's a bit dumb as you don't really know how to make it actionable. And I think that was one of the core use cases of AI, right? Is machine learning went to predictive models, and then there's also generative models, right, for AI, right? But yeah, can you tell us a little bit more in simple terms, what is Bluwhale AI? And also if there is somewhere to benchmark it with another project, that would be great.
Of course. So if you look into the space, right, like the real verticals of AI that found applications are on the agent side, you have Fetch AI, right? That's very consumer facing, trying to solve tasks, random tasks for people. The second layer you have is what we call the compute layer, right? Like Aether does that, right? They do a very good job in, having the community run the nodes and power the compute power of the GPUs. And then you have the data layer, like for example, Carve, right? They are doing a modular compute layer, AI data layer where the data is being stored, right? Now the problem is like, you need to have a layer where the AI actually infers and actually starts making decisions by memorizing, contextualizing, and actually deriving conclusions. Now that layer doesn't quite exist. The only competitors that we found are, for example, the graph, right? But the graph structures in a way that you need to set up your own graph in order then to run and scale, which can be quite technical to a certain degree, right? What we are trying to solve is like, we want to take the complexity, the technicality out of the equation, and we want to put it into normal people's hands so that we can then scale a AI network that anybody in this world can contribute to, and of course be incentivized for. And that's ultimately what Bluwhale does. We are the intelligence layer that does the decision making for you, the recommendations for you, and tells you what to do next. So we are saving literally the manual work of data analysis. We don't even want you to look at the data. We want to tell you what to do because we have thought through and our AI has digested the data.
So yeah, that's fascinating. Thanks, San. So I just want to come back to, because you mentioned the nodes, and obviously that's easy enough for anyone to run, including your dog. But you obviously are going through a node cell right now, and I'm curious, like there's a lot of companies right now, projects are going through a node cell, and there's obviously a lot of advantages for it. So I'd be curious to know what you think is the advantages for why Bluwhale wants to do a node cell, and what are you doing is differently compared to any other projects that are doing it?
I would say like there are 3 points that we do very differently, and one of them we just discussed is, like we are going the mobile route. And the mobile route is very, very powerful because it doesn't just put a node on your desktop, it puts it into your pocket. Now, if you have it in your pocket, it's running behind the scenes and it's making, passive income for you, it becomes like a no-brainer to actually run it and operate it and contribute to the network. The second part, which we actually do differently than the others, is we are structuring 2 categories of nodes. The nodes that you're going to get through the node cell are called master nodes. Master nodes, think of it this way, a leader and follower concept. Only if you have a master node, you can build later on a community that follows you, and you can operate nodes all together in your team, in your family, in your community, and you guys can make a boost or more rewards together. Now, the second category is going to be common nodes. We're going to be selling that at a much lower price. However, the emission, but also like the capabilities of that is much, much less. So you cannot follow those, common nodes, and you cannot get that booster of the rewards that you're getting. So we are playing into a social concept here as well. And then the last part, to be completely frank with you, our node's gonna be able to unlock new capabilities. Like I said, AI today doesn't just rely on compute. Just because someone is solving compute, I cannot run AI on it. Or someone is solving data, modular data, I cannot run AI on it. I need them all. That's why today we are using AWS and Google, okay? Because they provide the whole package. Now, if I have millions of people run it on the phone where data, compute, memory is all in one, then imagine what our network could become in the future.
Follow-up question on that. That's a really, really good point. We're talking about the nodes. What about the token use cases and the utilities? Because I know that, for example, Carve, right? When you run deep in networks and people want to use your network, so some of these projects, they offer airdrops, right? For all of the tokens that actually build on the infrastructure. They'll say, okay, listen, you can benefit from my community, we'll help you scale and all the other, parts that they really need assistance with and help. And in exchange, you do a little airdrop for holding, the Bluwhale token. But that's just one example, of course. But how do you see the token use cases playing out from the beginning and then how it could evolve in the future?
For sure. So in the beginning, the token use case for us is really like to decentralize our AI network, right? One of the struggles we face coming out of Web 2 is that AI is very centralized. That means like it belongs only to one or two people that are making the decision of where AI is going to go. With our tokens, you're going to have governance rights in our network, which means decentralization of AI means we want to have a democratic decision on where AI is going to head it in the long term. That's the first part. The second part is like when you're doing like the nodes operations and generating income from the nodes itself, there's a way of delegating. So that means like some people that are holding our nodes, holding our tokens, they could be your delegators running the nodes for you. And there are of course other third parties that could be running the nodes for you. There's a big benefit of being a holder of Blue AI tokens. And then the last part, of course, with Blue AI tokens, it's a utility. It's actually a utility token. We thought about like, on our platform, if you're using our token for outreach to individual wallet holders, it's kind of like functioning in a gas, gas fee capability, and ultimately it drives the community to be better connected with each other. And that's what we ultimately want to build around users that are interconnected with each other, communicating with each other, and contributing data with each other.
I think the number one issue we've seen like in the space is like a lot of projects forcing tokens, maybe launching tokens when they don't need it, when they can, run an application either way. What would you say that the biggest differentiator that you guys have when you came to designing the tokenomics is to ensure that the token is, accruing the necessary value and actually offering a net benefit to the ecosystem?
So when we designed the tokenomics, it was very important for us to think about how do we decentralize our network in the first place. That means like giving enough people the opportunity to contribute the data for incentives of getting tokens in response. Now, on top of that, what we believe is really valuable is that people are polishing their profiles on our platform. Because the more polished you are, the more demand you're going to have, and the more tokens you're going to earn, because demand and inbound outreach will come to your profile, and people or enterprises will reach out to you ultimately. Now, if you have this kind of like circular kind of like ecosystem, what becomes really interesting is like we become then the matching layer in between that has the intelligence around every individual, matching enterprises and individuals with each other, where we believe the benefit or the probability of transaction is really, really high. So we are literally becoming like Tinder of like Web3, right? And you can just imagine if you are able to match, you can enterprise to enterprise, people to people, what kind of potential this kind of an ecosystem could have.
You're like the Tinder and AWS of Web3.
Yeah, that's right.
The Tinder of Web2 that your dog can even play with.
That's right. That's the meme coin name that we're going to be launching.
So, Han, I think in previous discussions, right, we spoke about how important is that Web3 starts to move into what has made big brands in Web2 successful. And we spoke about the Amazon-like experience, the Netflix-like experience, where a user actually gets personalized recommendations based on their behavioral patterns. How is Bluwhale actually enabling this for Web3?
That's a really good question. When we came into the space, the first question we asked ourselves is like, why does blockchain need AI? And the way we answered is that the next wave of adoption going to be users that are non-technical, and they need 3 seconds in order to leave you. Right? And so in those 3 seconds, you need to capture their attention. Now, what personalization, like what Bluwhale does is, if you break it down into one word, it's called personalization. That means like understanding, profiling, holistically seeing a person in the digital world based on their footprint, based on their profile, based on the data that we have acquired. Now, what can AI do with it? AI can then recommend you and show you the right content, the right assets, the right services, the right digital products even that interests you and that doesn't let you go. And now you no longer have an experience where you end up on, I don't know, maybe like an NFT marketplace with 500 million NFTs and you have no freaking clue what to buy next.
You're a DeFi DJ and you're getting recommendations to buy NFTs.
That's exactly right.
So far, guys, we've done the first T for team, right? We did tech. We did tokenomics, or the token. And next up, we're going to talk about traction.
All right.
Traction, community. So what emphasis are you placing on community growth? What are some of the things you have in mind in terms of really uniting the community? Because obviously that's the number one constituent of success when it comes to sustainable crypto projects, at least on the token side.
For sure. So community is everything, right? And Web3, if you don't have a community, your project is not going to fly. So we spend a lot of time in the early days figuring out how to empower and incentivize the consumer side. So when we opened our platform, our consumer platform in April, we had more than 100,000 people come in the first week, which was crazy. Like it was, like unimaginable. Even like my co-founder and I, we were just like looking at each other, not sure like where those guys are coming from. Now, over the last couple of months, it has grown to 600, 700,000 people that have opted in, claiming their profile on Bluwhale, which is insane. Right? We have seen more than a couple million actually connect their wallet, but then really opting in, which means like attaching your social profiles, polishing your profiles, and actually using Bluwhale is around like 600 to 700,000. Now, how do we bring them closer together, right? It's not just about opting in. It's also about like empowering them, not just to contribute, but also earn. Now, that's where the Bluwhale node sale comes into play. Our Bluwhale node sale is not just like, hey, we sell you the nodes, that's it, that's, and you're going to get tokens. Our Bluwhale node sale is structured in a way that we give you the opportunity to own those exclusive master nodes, become leaders and create communities on your own on Bluwhale. And that will then boost your earning power. That's kind of like what we structured around as a social effect, as a community building activity, but also as the right incentive to build the social dynamic around people, to build the right communities on top of Bluwhale, and to allow the individual master node holder to be that leader in this space, to be part of a decentralized network of AI.
So if you're an individual watching this right now, what can you do as a next step to get involved with the ecosystem and start earning?
That's a great question. You should definitely download our app. We are a web browser app, right? So first go to our website, bluwhale.com, sign up, connect your wallet. Even if you don't have a wallet, we have a function where you can just sign up using your email, and then download our app, check out the nodes, and join and participate in our node sale. It's going to be the most exciting thing for this year, for this bull run. And so don't miss out.
Amazing.
All right, guys, so you had it here. We had Han, the co-founder and CEO of Bluwhale AI, and we talked about 4 of the T's instead of 5 because theme and trend, we all know that deep in AI is already a big trend, so no need to dwell too much on that. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. We'll try to get back to you, and don't forget to participate and join this beautiful movement. See you soon, guys.
Cheers.